What financial planners won't tell you. Don't retire without watching this. Today I'm going to share the 3 secrets that you'll never hear from financial planners. After watching this video, you'll be armed with information that 95% of people don't know. I'll share the most important question you need to ask before working with any financial advisor. I'll explain why your financial shouldn't be your go-to guru for retirement planning. Understand the retirement con we've been sold and how exciting the next phase of your life can be once you know this. Finally, stick around till the end because I'll expose the dirty little secret the financial services industry doesn't want you to know. Retirement is actually in the top 10 most stressful life events, right up there with job loss, death of a spouse, divorce. Financial advisors could be doing so much more to make retirement less stressful. As you no doubt know, financial planners are myopically focused on money. Longevity planning is not in their wheelhouse, and they aren't trained to help clients with the big questions in connection with what comes next. The truth, financial planning is only about 25% of the entire retirement planning process. Unfortunately, financial planners simply aren't trained to help clients transition to a new life of meaning and significance that goes way beyond their work life or their career identity. In fact, findings from Hearts and Wallets, a financial services research firm, revealed huge gaps between what pre-retirees and retirees want from financial advisors versus what they're actually getting. Some of these include gaps in advice about working in retirement, counseling with respect to housing choices and options, and withdrawing money from their financial accounts. In fact, they found only 6% of clients got any help with real estate planning at all. Yet people over age 55 spend about 40% of their income on housing. Now that's a huge advisory gap that needs to be filled. So you need to know up front that your financial planner will not be providing holistic retirement lifestyle planning. There are some compelling and infuriating reasons why this is so. I share in my book, which you can find a link to in the description, what our general rule is when it comes to financial planners. And that is, we simply require that they need to be doing as well or better financially than we are. Now, when we lived in Florida, I did a lot of networking to grow our business, and we were earning a good income. So a lot of people would pitch their financial advisory service. Hey, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee, they'd say. And with as much kindness as I possibly could, I'd say, can you show me where you're making $10,000 to $20,000 a month in passive residual income? In other words, can you show me you have income streams coming in without your involvement? If they couldn't do that, which most of them couldn't, then I would politely decline their offer to get together to discuss financial matters. Why should you take advice from someone who, at least with respect to financial matters, isn't doing as well? So when it comes to seeking financial advice, may I suggest asking, does this person have the income and/or lifestyle that I would want? If not, why listen? When you buy their opinion, you're buying their lifestyle. That was our philosophy anyway. And as a result, we've done well by educating ourselves about financial matters, of course, but in reality, all facets of the planning process and understanding what it takes to have a great quality of life. And part of that is being very picky about who we listen to when it comes to any type of trusted advisor. Now let's jump into the next topic. Let's talk about the idea of retirement. Now, please understand that the whole concept of retirement didn't exist prior to the pre-industrial era. Before that, work was mostly rural and entrepreneurial. Think self-sufficient craftsmen, skilled workers, craftspeople like carpenters, tailors, shoemakers. They were skilled workers that took pride in their work, and they controlled the entire process of production. A cabinet maker would go buy the wood, make a cabinet, finish it, and sell it. These workers were in complete control of the entire production process. Now, during the industrial era, a shift occurred, much like the shifts we're seeing in work in the modern era, even the past couple of decades. The means of production meant dependence on factories and resulted in mass migration to cities where workers performed just a small piece of a much bigger production process. The entire idea of work was transformed from a craftsman entrepreneurial process to a means to an end, which was the collection of a paycheck. And there was really no emotional reward involved in the work. There wasn't the pride of workmanship that we saw in the pre-industrial era. Then World War II happened, and Social Security was created in part as an incentive to get older workers to exit the workplace so that younger workers could have jobs during a period of time when there was a scarcity. Companies provided pensions, basically income for life to retired workers. Now we have unfunded pension liabilities that threaten the financial safety net that many retirees depend on. And most don't have pensions at all, because there was another shift that occurred about the 1970s, 80s, when ERISA came along and companies ditched their defined benefits plans, which was the pension for life framework, and went to defined contribution plans known as 401ks. So then you weren't guaranteed a particular monthly pension when you retired. You might be lucky enough to get some matching funds in your 401k, but you're basically self-funding your own retirement rather than earning a pension. So that obviously shifted in favor of corporations and to the detriment of workers. So what happened was the financial planning industry, of course, got excited because they love that everybody's now on their own when it comes to planning for finances and retirement and navigating the resulting chaos. So this cottage industry exploded, and it's always been all about the money. There's little to no focus on what that money was going to be used for. Rather, the message is just accumulate as much as humanly possible. Now, we all know there's a huge gap in retirement funding. You can read about it every day on the news feed, you see it in the media. People just don't save enough. We keep hearing that. But if you're just accumulating a big pile of money, you don't have any idea where that money is going or what it's going to be used for, you're not very incentivized to save, right? It's kind of vague. Where exactly does your return on life come into the picture? If you're myopically focused on financial retirement planning, then you're really missing out on all these other important pieces, the rich facets that make the rest of your life, the best of your life, possible. As a result, there's a huge gap between what clients need and want from their financial planners versus what they are actually getting. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying financial planning isn't important in your retirement plan, but what I teach is different. And that is to focus on monthly cash flow and not the size of the nest egg. Sadly, there's a rather shocking and sinister reason for this obsession with the size of your nest egg. And it explains the reason for the gap in services that I just described. The late Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man, said, "Show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome." The financial planning compensation model is the problem. The larger a client's nest egg they manage, the higher the commission that the financial planners earn. That's why there's a gap in getting advice about withdrawing money from financial accounts. They don't want you to pull your money out. The more assets under management, the more money the financial planners will make. This is a real conflict of interest, but it's even worse than that. which I'll explain in a moment. See how there's this baked-in disincentive when it comes to clients pulling out their savings to actually enjoy their life? The advisor wants the money pile to just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger due to the commissions, unless you're using a fee-based financial planner, which I highly recommend. As I shared in another video that you can watch, I live in Mexico. Geo arbitrage is a brilliant financial strategy. It simply means saving money by moving to a lower cost area while maintaining the same level of income. Not only can it reduce your living costs and increase your quality of life, it's a very smart long-term financial strategy. Housing costs eat up the lion's share of income for most middle-class earners. If you can reduce housing expenses by 50% or more, that has a profound economic impact. You can use it domestically, of course, move to a lower cost area, and many retirees do that. But perhaps no financial strategy can reduce your living expenses by 50% as effectively as retiring overseas. Doing so can mean it's not necessary for you to sacrifice a great quality of life now in order to, hopefully, someday have a bright economic future. This strategy can provide you with the opportunity to travel the world, live in beautiful places, and dine out frequently. You can enjoy personal services such as massages, housekeeping, and many others for a fraction of US prices. But think about this. Financial planners are disincentivized to advise their clients of the monumental impact of these cost savings realized by moving abroad. If they say, oh, you could save so much money by moving overseas, they might lose a client. Client's gone, doesn't use them anymore. So there's this built-in conflict of interest. A wise mentor advised us many years ago to get a financial planner, but make sure they're fee-based. You pay them a fee for their services. They don't sell you financial service products or earn commissions for assets under management. That's also the best way to become a victim of the financial services industry's dirty little secret they won't tell you about. Let's get into that now. In the United States, financial advisors are not legally bound as fiduciaries, meaning that they must act in the best interests of their clients. Instead, they operate under what's called a suitability standard, which only requires that they recommend investments that are suitable for their clients' financial situations, goals, and risk tolerances, but not the best option available. This legal distinction is crucial because it allows advisors to recommend products or services that may not be the best choice for you, their clients, but would generate much higher commissions or fees for themselves and/or their firms. For example, an advisor might recommend a mutual fund with higher fees or a complex financial product that pays a commission, even if a simpler, lower cost option would be more financially beneficial for the client. This mismatch of incentives means it's perfectly legal for advisors to prioritize their own financial interests over those of their clients. This business model erodes trust in the financial advice industry and results in clients receiving poor recommendations that may not be aligned with their long-term financial goals. This absence of a fiduciary duty also means that clients may not always receive full transparency regarding potential conflicts of interest. They don't have to disclose them. Shockingly, advisors are not required to disclose incentives they receive for recommending certain products or services, which makes it difficult for their clients to fully understand the motivations behind their recommendations. As an attorney, I find this utterly shocking and unacceptable. The first time I heard about this, I thought, this just can't be right. And I researched it and I learned the truth. which far too few people know. Now, there have been efforts made to address this issue, most notably through the Department of Labor's fiduciary rule, which aimed to require financial advisors to act in the best interests of their clients when providing investment advice related to retirement accounts. However, the fate of this rule has been uncertain, and even if it were fully implemented, it wouldn't cover all types of financial advice. In short, the U.S. financial services industry has a huge conflict of interest problem that stems from the lack of a universal fiduciary standard for all financial advisors. This permits a predatory environment that allows financial advisors, the very people we trust with our financial future and well-being, to prioritize their own financial gain over the interests of their clients. They should be ashamed. You are on your own when it comes to looking out for your best interests financially. Sure, there's some good financial planners out there, but here's a test for yours. Tell your financial planner you don't want to talk about just money and see how they react. Knowledge is power. Bye for now. Dream big and act on it daily.